Previously on You're Tall, but I'm standing in front of you.
Yeah.
And I hate MCU movies. Like, to be honest, I know, I'm not trying to, be like Martin Scorsese out here. If you like them, we can agree to disagree, right? But, I personally don't like them. I don't like the way they're all interconnected. And I think it doesn't give them, they don't individually have arcs in the way a movie should have. But Spider-Man is, nice and self-contained. It's tight. It has a story. It just feels like you're watching a movie. It doesn't feel like you're participating in an immense global money-making apparatus.
Devin, I am so sorry to be the bearer of bad news, because what you perhaps are not realizing as you're watching Spider-Man is you are watching one film of the larger MCU that it simply has not yet been subsumed into, but inevitably, in December of this year, of 2021, will become yet another component of the MCU. Yeah.
You're tall, but I'm standing in front of you.
It's a podcast.
All right,
Go on.
Okay. The dogs are not cooperating, folks, but welcome to You're Tall, but I'm Standing in Front of You, the podcast where two friends circling the drains of academia examine the cultural detritus of the 20th century, and boy, are we doing that today. I'm Devin.
I'm Ethan.
And with us, you may remember her from our Dune episode, is Catie. Catie, do you want to say hi?
Hello.
All right, so Ethan, you want to tell the folks what we're doing today? We're here live.
We're here live.
Right? Well,
That's
not
why
live, but in person with each other, live to each other.
We've got the two puppies as well, Cash and Zurich, just hanging out in the studio, so providing some background noise for us. And we have just come back from seeing, I think it said on the marquee at the local theater, Spider-Man. No way!
Home. So yeah, we watched it. It was 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
There were 2 credit sequences, one of which was just like a trailer for another movie. Marvel is not going to be satisfied until we all die of natural causes while watching a Marvel movie. But we did it. We have entered into the MCU on the Your Tall pod. This is the metaverse crossover everyone's been waiting for. And we'll get into some things about this movie. But first off, maybe just what did you guys think? Just overall reaction.
So this might be the most meta-focused film I've ever seen. The most obviously self-aware of what it is sort of film that I may have ever seen. It seemed like most of the plot, in fact, was quips about the fact that it is an MCU film.
Yeah.
Which I chuckled at some of them. There were some of them that were meant to be funny, some that were not. But it seemed like it was a fan fiction, right? It was written as a fan fiction. And all of the what if we could put all the Spider-Mens together? what funny back and
What if
forth
they like
would they
touched
have?
each other?
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, it was a Marvel movie about Marvel movies.
Yeah. With which I appreciated, having Tobey Maguire playing like the guy who isn't really into Marvel films and just sort of like, oh, I'm here, but I'm sort of phoning it in. Yeah, so that was sort of my take with it.
It was fun.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I feel that for sure. I was so surprised to see Tobey Maguire because he's off living in Brentwood raising his children. He does not like fuck around with movies anymore. He's running his own production company. He doesn't really give a shit. So I was very surprised to see that he was like a part of this. I was also really like pumped to see Andrew Garfield because I will be honest, I saw all of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies. I did not see Andrew Garfield's. I didn't do it. But talking about all of the Spider-Mans touching one another, I think that there actually was a film, multiple films, the adult film industry about that. So
yeah, a lot of
already
fodder
happened.
for that going forward, I imagine. Do you think that Tobey Maguire would like contractually put in there like, I'm not gonna wear the fucking Spider-Man thing for most of my actual acting scenes? In fact, I'm not sure if like all of it was CGI'd at a later point, but for most of his initial scenes, he's just wearing like a hoodie or like a t-shirt.
Like it's like a jacket.
Yeah.
And they make the quip about how he looks like a youth pastor.
Yeah.
I'm just really upset that if they brought back Tobey Maguire, why did they not bring back the iconic like upside down makeup scene? Like that was pivotal.
But like with two Spider-Men?
But with two Spider-Men, obviously. Hopefully Andrew Garfield. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
But that's just like a little piece that I thought was missing that would really have like put it over the top.
Yeah, Devin, what's your takeaway from the film?
Yeah, I mean, I've been like, you don't seem to be able to buy cyanide tablets on Amazon.com.
Let's all go to the lobby.
I mean, it was fine. Like, there was actually some fun stuff in it. I think the strength of the film for me was actually weirdly Andrew Garfield, right? Because who is like, I think like, generally considered like the weakest Spider-Man, right? And the movies were not successful, and the film is like, it knows that and it's making fun of him the whole time. And I think that's some of where the movie like most shined for me. And like, he actually his character to me as this like Spider-Man who knows he's like the least important Spider-Man actually had like some heart and some charm and some personality. I definitely do think like when the two other Spider-Men show up, the movie gains a little bit of oomph for me. Even though I do think like the jokes, like at some point it was like, okay, you can edit some of these down.
Oh
like
my God.
this is interminably long.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's a Marvel movie. It is, it is what it is. Like, I don't even know. It doesn't even really feel like you're watching a movie when you watch a Marvel movie. It just feels like you've tuned in your like radio dial to like a snippet of a continuous stream of content that is going to continue long after you and everyone you know is dead. But like, I didn't hate it. Fell asleep a little at a couple points, but it actually is like, we'll get into all this, but I think it is interesting to think about because it is the Marvel movie that maybe is most like, as you said, Ethan, like self-aware of its status as a Marvel movie. And also its connection to like not just like the MCU, but to like this longer history of recycled properties and stuff. And it's actually we won't talk about this, but like the Matrix Resurrections just came out too, which is also this very like self-aware reboot. So it's kind of interesting to see how all these blockbusters are now like it seems like they're entering this phase of kind of like it's become too awkward not to talk about it like metatextually like. And that seems to be one way that like these movies are trying to stay fresh somehow is like thematizing their own lack of like new ideas.
Yeah, I think when you get to the point where you're having all three Spider-Men from the different iterations come together, like you don't want it to be too serious because that's really fucking lame. On the other hand, like it was almost too silly for most of this film. It's like, we get it. You're from 3 different franchises. There's so many callbacks and just references, not even to their stories, but to like the franchises, you know? Like you were saying, the fact that like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man wasn't as felt to be as iconic as the others. And honestly, I came out of this thinking like he's actually probably the best Spider-Man of any of them. But it was almost too self-aware. Like they have this like really long back and forth of like, no, Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker, you're amazing. Because his films were called The Amazing Spider-Man. I'm like, and it went on for so long.
They tell the joke like 4 times. Like,
See, here's the thing is that while y'all are talking about this, I don't know if you caught this, but like when they were divvying up when they were divvying up their roles as they were trying to take down bad guys or like cure some ass. They Tom Holland's Peter Parker says, "I'm Peter Parker 1." Tobey Maguire says, "I'm Peter Parker 2." And Andrew Garfield's like, "Fine, I'm 3." I'm Peter Parker 3. To try to figure it out. But it, like you're talking about something that I don't know if like this is the appropriate time to talk about it, but the amount of like mental health, the amount of like mental health, not necessarily awareness, but just like talking and understanding mental health, was really, really interesting for me. That scene with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, where Tobey was like, "No, you're like the best. You're so good." And it's like, we gotta stop this negative self-talk. And I was like, okay. So Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker is just like us. He has depression. So very, very interesting. But I think like that was like a big core of the movie, was like this real look into social programming or like curing quote unquote bad people, and like thinking about like the reasons people are like this, like how do we solve these things, and then also like even heroes get really sad about themselves sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, for those who don't know, Catie is like her specialty is in like counseling. So I like you bringing that up. Because that was sort of a theme throughout there. This whole idea of like fixing people, or are people redeemable?
yeah, and I think, I mean, we should go over we're not going to go through the plot of this, but we should talk about the premise maybe a little briefly. We're alluding to it, obviously, but I want to say, like, I think that's really good, and, like, it's the fact that we see it 3 times, and all of the Spider-Man, like, one of the things the movie's doing with, right, is the fact that for Spider-Man to exist, he has to exist as this, like, traumatized figure, right? Like, his origin story is, like, experiencing this, like, traumatic death of a loved one, and, like, you know, and so, like, they have to be fucked up. No matter how many iterations of Spider-Man you get, you could never have, like, a non-traumatized Spider-Man, because he would no longer be Spider-Man. But then the film is also about, like, our collective mental illness as a society, right? Of having watched all these goddamn movies, right? Like, over and over and over again. And we'll get into the premise maybe right now, but, like, this is a movie that's brave enough to ask, what would the world be like if we could just forget the MCU existed? And what I want to give it some credit for is, even though it's an MCU movie, it emphatically answers that our lives would be much better. like nobody experiences any downside. But Ethan, do you want to maybe try to, like, we can get into just really briefly, just like the premise of the movie, the plot, whatever, you know.
I'll just say, if y'all are coming to this podcast weeks after Spider-Man No Way Home came out to, like, get plot summaries, like, this ain't it, fam. Like, that, but the general gist of things, for those of you who, like, maybe saw it a week or two ago, it's the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is back. We were last left at the end of the last film with, like, his identity being revealed by the J. Jonah Jameson character, who is essentially
Alex Jones or something?
Yeah, he's essentially Alex Jones in this universe. And he revealed that Spider-Man's Peter Parker, so...
Well, and it's revealed via... I think it's important, too, for, like, the mental health aspect, right? It's revealed via, like, Mysterio's death in the previous film, which is framed to be Peter Parker murdering him, but is actually a suicide, right? So this movie literally opens with a suicide note, a suicide video, right? Like,
yeah, and so Peter Parker and all of his friends are coming to grips with this. Everyone's divided. So I guess like that's a take on the whole idea that like
people just
you're
don't get along
always
these days.
yeah, these days people just can't agree on things. And they get rejected from MIT because they're controversial.
Unlike Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, and so like I look forward to like the Ben Shapiro recap of the first 20 minutes being like, it's finally taking on the liberal establishment and how they are excluding conservative voices from campus. But they get, MIT is just like, you're and they say this in the letter, which probably legalistically you probably wouldn't want to do. They say in the letter, we're rejecting you because people are conflicted about whether you're a good guy.
Yeah. Or something like, yeah. And it's not just that Spider-Man doesn't get into MIT. Spider-Man's friends don't get into MIT. Like, it's like, sorry. It's also like,
they've been blacklisted.
Sometimes you just don't get into MIT because it's hard to do. Right?
I thought
they would have all gotten in. Like one high school sending 3 people to MIT. That's like a pretty high percentage, right?
That would get on the news. Yeah. So that the whole time they're leading up to this with the expectation that all 3 of them were going, like expecting to get into MIT. I'm like, it's not gonna happen. It doesn't matter how successful you are. Like it's probably not going to happen for y'all. So
yeah, that really that took me out of the realism for me. It took me out of put it really into fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they go to the Wizards after that, and Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is like, I guess he's like depressed after Infinity War. He's like no longer
he wears like hoodies now.
Yeah, he's no longer the Sorcerer Supreme because he went AWOL for 5 years.
Kind of like Tobey Maguire actually. This film's really interested in like over the hill like midlife crisis white guys that are like dressing like shit now. Like it's I'm so glad you pointed this out, Catie, because this movie's just about like everyone's fucking depressed.
Yeah.
Like,
look, the pandemic was really hard, okay? Quarantine sucked.
Well, what I think it really is it's kind of like everybody coming to terms with the fact that the MCU will never end. Like Doctor Strange, Infinity War is done. Like he did his big thing to like make sure it was that one way that they were gonna win and then it's like, oh my god, we're gonna keep doing this forever.
Man, I really wish that the MCU had never started, because now I'm like still on Chris Evans' relationship theory like subreddits and forums, and I can't get out of it. Like, it's bad. I can't do it. I can't get out of it, friends.
What's the goss? What's the sip in there?
Okay, so
yeah,
Chris Evans is hooking up with a 24-year-old, which is like obviously like as you do.
What is he? 25, 26?
40. He'll be
what?
I know, he'll be 41 on June 15th.
Wow. That's quite an ageist perspective there, Catie.
All I'm saying is that if the MCU had never started with Captain America, then I would not have spent my time on that. And,
well, it started with Iron Man. Well, no, actually, it started with Spider-Man, 2002 Spider-Man.
Retroactive.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't care about RDJ.
Okay, well, who was the other like Thor? So do you care about?
Oh no, I did. I fuck with Thor. Yeah.
Okay.
I fuck with.
So
Thor.
he's all right.
Yeah.
So God, we're the wizard. Yeah.
Let's yada yada the rest of this. I think right. Like basically what happens is like he's like, Doctor Strange, do a magic spell so everyone forgets who I am. It gets fucked up. Universes collide. All the villains from the old Spider-Man movies show up.
He says essentially, Doctor Strange, do a contract negotiation between Sony and Marvel.
Yeah.
And this is what we get.
Yeah. And so like what we get like Green Goblin with what's his name? Willem Dafoe. We get Jamie Foxx as Electro. We get the Robert Molina. Is it Robert Molina?
Alfred.
We get the Alfred Molina Doc Ock. Sandman, who cares who plays him? And
Thomas
Lizard.
Hayden Church. Absolutely. How dare you? Thomas Hayden Church from Tarzan.
Yeah, but he is CGI sand for until one shot. Right? Like he becomes like a person.
And then also Reese Ifans for as like the Lizard Man, which is really interesting because he is also currently also in The Kingsman, which is also playing.
Oh yeah. So
Rasputin.
it's a huge winter for the Reese heads out there, the Reese's Pieces out there.
I don't believe you didn't call them Reese fans. I mean, but yeah,
the E-fans.
the E-fans.
But anyway, basically they're like, somehow they want to do restorative justice to these villains. Is basically the idea, right? They don't want to kill them. They're like, we need to cure them of
I can
their
fix him.
illnesses, which also are like weird mutations that give them powers. But then basically, they try to do that. Some bad shit happens. Marissa Tomei's Aunt May gets killed, and says the great responsibility line. Which I guess had never been said. I didn't realize that this version of Spider-Man had not heard, because we don't get the Uncle Ben scene with this Spider-Man, but I kind of always assumed they just didn't do it, but it had happened off screen, But he gets that. She's dead, like Green Goblin kills
It actually,
her.
the line came through a portal from another universe as part of the multiverse. So, yeah.
And basically then the other Spider-Men show up, and then it kind of, it becomes this family comedy for a little bit. And then there's a big action set piece at the end where they cure all the villains because they just easily created cures. And they just have to inject
In a
them all
high
with different
school
things.
chemistry lab.
Yeah, they're, all these chemicals that you can make, the most fantastical things that have ever been made in time.
A public school chemistry lab. Anyways, I'm done.
So hashtag fun public education, because you never know. You might have to cure some villains.
Yeah. You need to have 3 Spider-Men's worth of ingredients in every high school chemistry lab.
Yeah, teachers right now are out there with GoFundMes to try to raise money for the hazardous and illegal chemicals they need to stock their classrooms.
Even the best public schools currently only have 1 to 2 Spider-Men's worth of chemicals, and we need 3 for these exact situations.
Because of these multiverse situations now, because it's we don't just have to cure Electro. We have to cure Electro, the Sandman, and Doc Ock all at the same time.
Yeah.
Also, the Lizard Man. How dare you for
Yeah.
the Lizard Man?
Also, I love that all of their ails are cured with goop. You just
different forms of goo.
Yeah, just syringe them, just inject them with this formula, and they're
It's
fixed.
liberal technocracy, isn't it? Right? None of these things were caused by socioeconomic problems that are more structural, right? It's just that they're all crazy and they need science fictional Prozac.
Yeah, the closest we get to any of this is Jamie Foxx's character being why isn't there a black Spider-Man? I thought that maybe there could be a black Spider-Man.
They should have. How did they not do a Donald Glover scene or something?
Well, because I'm sure there have been meetings, and I'm sure it's cooked up for some later thing.
Yeah, they're trying to. Yeah, they need to stretch this out for another 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So. But then basically at the end, it basically all turned out to be pointless because Tom Holland is okay, Doctor Strange, just make everyone forget me so everyone's happier. And then everyone forgets him, and everyone is happy.
Yeah, it's like a
and they get into MIT.
Yeah,
his friends.
It's a reverse. It's a Wonderful Life. Imagine if George Bailey wished he had never been born, and then he went back, and everyone is just having a fucking blast. What's his wife's name? Mary.
Yeah.
Mary is a librarian, but happily so. She's this is great. I'm a career-driven individual.
Yeah, well, she went and got a master's of information sciences.
Yeah, it's not easy
from Pittsburgh or something.
Yeah. But so it's essentially everyone is happier with the fact that they don't know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yeah, and he goes. He's gonna reintroduce himself, right? And then he's like, "Oh nope, they're happier. Okay." And then he just gets an apartment.
Yeah.
And it really is. It's funny because it's like only the MCU has like the funding and the special effects and the ability to do just like wonky high concept shit where they can imagine a movie that undoes the MCU, basically, right? Like it's like, what if we could just let go of all this baggage? Because this movie is like, it's oppressive to watch because you watch this movie and you realize how much of your brain is taken up with absolutely useless trivia of just like, oh, that's the guy from Amazing Spider-Man, and that's the guy from Spider-Man 2, and that's the guy from Spider-Man Homecoming. And like I know who all these people are, and it's like all connected now, and it's like, but what if that just all went away? And it's like, oh, you would be doing well, and you would like go to MIT and study engineering.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I kept thinking watching this film was like, oh, J. Jonah Jameson's character is actually kind of right. When he's like, anytime Spider-Man is around, it like terrible things happen. Like London was destroyed, and we're just gonna move on from this. And so much like Alex Jones, he's been right about everything, especially the frogs. But no, like the J. Jonah Jameson character is right. Like it's not good. Like it's not good.
And just sorry, like question, just like guy who's not as plugged into the MCU question, because like J. Jonah Jameson is played by the same actor who plays him in the original Spider-Man movies, right?
Yeah.
Like it's J.K. Simmons. Has
Yeah.
he always been in the Tom Holland ones?
He was at the very end of the last one. It was like the last scene. And so everyone's like,
Weird.
whoa, weird, because that's the guy from the other films.
Okay, so that was how they seeded the idea there's something weird going on with
Yeah.
okay, that
but it's
makes
never
sense.
explained why, like, why are some people different, totally different individuals in different universes, but I guess he's just a consistent across all of them.
Yeah. Well, it also it's interesting because like the whole premise of what is attracting people into the universe, right, are people who know who Peter Parker is, right?
Yeah.
Is the idea is that like the spell goes wrong such that like instead of erasing people from knowing who Peter Parker is, everyone in any multiverse who knows who Peter Parker is being attracted to the universe and causing these collapses, which means what can't exist in that situation is any universe where Spider-Man doesn't exist, right? Like it's like that is out. Like there's theoretically infinite universes where just none of this shit happens, and like maybe we got like some socialism or something, or at least Joe Biden canceled some student loan debt, right? But that can't be depicted by the film. Other than in this last moment of sort of like forgetting, but it's even in that it's not that they forget Spider-Man exists, it's that they forget Peter Parker exists, right? Like Spider-Man still exists.
Yeah. You did a really good job keeping this under wraps when the minute 30 mark hit and like they panned over to you, like your little cameo where you're like, what am I doing in this universe? Hey, you're that guy from the comics. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we did want to announce like we have like the Yortal has been acquired by Disney.
Yeah.
And we are being integrated into the MCU. Hopefully to be killed.
It's gonna be you and me and like one of the Eternals, like Spligo or something. It's
like Splim Splam.
The guy who the black gay guy who did Hiroshima.
Yeah. It was entirely his fault.
Oh my god.
What else is there to say? Is there anything we didn't hit we want to talk about with this? I mean, it's kind of like, to me, it's interesting because it's like the film is fun. And what's fun about it is the meta stuff and the jokes and the, but all of that, it's a very dark humor because like, under it all is like the film knowing like, yeah, this is all really fucked up, right? That we just keep making these movies forever and ever.
Yeah.
And re-traumatizing Spider-Man forever and ever. And it ends with like a graveyard scene, basically. Well, maybe that's not the end, but there's like a graveyard scene where he's at Aunt May's grave and Happy Hogan is there. And he has this weird line where he's like, when somebody dies and you like wonder like, did like the abstract concepts they believed in die as well? And I'm like, not real. No, that's not
Yeah.
I don't usually have that thought, but
Yeah, he's like, I just worry, like, can the world continue to live by her ideals without her here? And it's like, she was, like, not even a public figure. Aunt May was just, like, a person, and if the entirety of our social fabric was being held together by, like, this one person who wasn't even known by pretty much anyone besides her, like, close family and confidants, then it probably wasn't. It was in a pretty tenuous position as it was, our more moral fabric, our societal progress. R.I.P. Aunt May.
yeah, the
They
hot
really
Aunt May.
yeah.
That's really the thing, right? But that's really the tragedy. Is she was the hot Aunt May, right?
Yeah.
If it's like the old Aunt May and she dies, it's like, okay, well, that was gonna happen anyway. But it's like, wait, I don't get to see Marissa Tomei in these movies anymore. The dogs are furious about this. They can't believe Marissa Tomei is gone. Which really, just watch My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
Come on, guys,
Shut
it's
up.
okay.
Shut up.
Be gentles.
The dogs have left us. I again just want to reiterate this point that J. Jonah Jameson is correct in what he's saying about the menace of Spider-Man. And the idea, like, the world would be better off if we didn't have... And even if you take it at the face value of we know all the plots of these films, most of the plots, like the bad stuff, involved Spider-Man existing,
Yeah.
And so it's like to me it's like the people who are like, well, if we leave Afghanistan, if we don't have that moral
for sure.
presence there, it will fall apart without our leadership there to hold it together. It's the same shit of like, we don't need Spider-Man.
Yeah, or police too, right? Like it's because like what is Spider-Man especially, right? Because like okay, in the MCU they have had him be involved in some of the more like cosmic level shit. But Spider-Man, in terms of Marvel characters, is relatively, like, low scale. In terms of, like, his villains are less powerful. Like, he's not that powerful, right? He's not of, like, a Thor level or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, he's essentially solving, like, relatively minor crimes and causing countless deaths and, like, countless, like, damage to this infrastructure of the city in doing so. And it's like, yeah, no, that's not the correct solution to these kind of problems. It's violence and policing and beating people up and capturing people and encasing them in webs, right? And I'm not saying that the J. Jonah Jameson character is then proposing socialism, but he is correctly noting that Spider-Man is not the solution to these problems. His answer wouldn't be correct either.
Right.
But a lot of times, right-wing figures are actually able to perceive the fractures in the liberal consensus that others can't.
Or like tap into that anger that people are righteously feeling about like the systemic issues at hand. The dogs have returned. We've let them leave, and they've come back to be a part of the podcast.
So there were two kind of scenes that were really staggering to me because they were such callbacks to the original films that they had. And the first callback was when Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker saved MJ. She's falling off of the Statue of Liberty, which also has the Captain America shield.
We've all been there.
But she's falling off the Statue of Liberty, and in Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker, the second movie, Gwen Stacy, his love interest, also played by Emma Stone, ends up dying because he
sucks.
He's the worst Peter Pan
he's Spider-Man 3.
Peter Pan, but he.
Excuse me?
Right. It's famously from the comics.
No, it is.
Stacy dies.
But that's the thing though, is that what really struck me about it is because in a Time article that I read 10 years ago, there was a physics professor in, I think, the University of Michigan who, all of his lessons were about, or they used parts of comic books, and that was one of them is why did Gwen Stacy die? Spider-Man like saved her, but why did she die? She died because her neck broke because like from like where he was, like in the centrifugal force of like how he like brought her back up, he actually broke her neck anyway. But that was a callback to where like Andrew Garfield, because we're talking about redemption, right? Like, but Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker felt like he killed Gwen Stacy. I mean, he did, but he was able to save MJ, and that was a redemption for him. But then also with Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker, where he's trying to like stop Tom Holland's Peter Parker from killing the Green Goblin. And actually Tom Holland is killing the Green Goblin in the same way that Harry was killed by Venom in Spider-Man 3. He was going to take the glider and the glider points and like push it down onto William Dafoe. But Tobey Maguire ended up getting stabbed. He didn't die though, friends. Stabbed by the Green Goblin, much in the same way that the Green Goblin was impaled. So it's just like there are so many callbacks to it, which, I mean, yes, you can say that it's like really cheesy and like, you know, like obviously those things they're very obvious callbacks, but in this idea of redemption where Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker felt like he could have saved Harry, he was giving Harry essentially a second chance by saving the Green Goblin.
Yeah, I want to pick up on this because maybe like this is hey, all of our Disney executives who are listening, I just like want to put this out there. This idea that you take these contained stories like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, and then you just like add more to the characters who had this completed story, like doesn't actually like improve upon that story. It really damages like the original story from whence it is derived. Like Doc Ock, I think, is the perfect example in this film, where in Spider-Man 2, the end of the film is like a redemption for that character where he realizes what he has done and actually helps save the city. And so just like bringing him back like a corpse to like rehash this shit is not actually improving upon. It's sort of, to me, ruining the original property to do that.
I think this is really interesting, right? And so it's like, because one of the things this movie does, right, is it asks us questions of like, can we cure these villains? Instead of just continuously fighting them over and over and over again in an endless cycle, can we cure them? And the movie is able to imagine that, but also then that begs the question of like, well, why don't heroes do this all the time, right? And it's because like this would end the story, right? This would give us resolution, and if we got resolution, then the MCU has to end, right? And this film, I'm actually starting to really kind of get almost into. I feel like it's actually very subversive of the MCU in a way, because it is exposing the fact that why is the MCU ultimately unsatisfying to us as viewers? Like, even if there's like satisfying moments that we remember, why? Because it can't have narrative resolution because it has to keep going forever. Whereas, like, even something like the original Spider-Man trilogy, which was it was a huge blockbuster, whatever, but it was able to end. And like, if you can't have any kind of like resolutionary like quilting point or something, you're just going to be like endlessly moving over and over again, right? And like, this movie is like, well, what would it take to do that within the MCU? And it's like, the answer is you actually have to like completely undo the very premise of the MCU itself. Like, and the MCU essentially, for like the characters that are involved in this movie, stops existing. Like for MJ and for I can't remember the friend's name. Ned, like they aren't part of the MCU anymore. They're part of like their normal life. Like their life now is like, it's moved on. They're going to college. They're not trapped in the eternal present of comic book action anymore, right? But the MCU can't actually do that. It can give us this taste of it, but then it's like this movie literally ends with a trailer for the next MCU movie, which is like some Doctor Strange mumbo jumbo, you know. So like the money keeps going, right?
True, 100%. Ditto. Hashtag like whatever, but.
Just make sure when you're speaking, like, stay in the same place.
Okay. You need better mics. I'm kidding. That's a joke. That's a joke.
That is how mechs are supposed to work.
Well, I'm just saying, like, we have all this technology to cure the people, to cure the villain.
Well, we've got the Disney. Once the Disney
To the high
money
school
starts
chemistry
flowing,
lab.
Like, yeah.
We've gotta cure the podcast. The podcast sucks ass. But we found these basic materials from a high school, and we're going to poison all of the hosts and fucking like there won't be a podcast anymore, and we're all gonna be happier. We already did this bit on the last episode.
Okay. So something that I think was really interesting as you were talking about it was like this idea of like curing the villains. And I would also, you touched upon this, but like curing the superheroes and like having their own redemption arcs, because I feel like the MCU does this like very milquetoast way of trying to bring in like gray areas to like moral issues with superheroes. But I think like this with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, they were able to like essentially end their terms, right? Like end their stories. And like, yeah, we kind of got this that MJ and Ned are not able, like, you know, they're no longer, they don't have to be part of the the MCU anymore. But yeah, it is this never ending story.
But it really, again, I keep driving home this point of it's like this liberal take of the moral being like we have to cure these bad guys, and Doctor Strange being like we just need to reset things. Like consider the collateral damage that is happening by our by refusing to accept that like these people have to return to the like consequences which they have sown. Be those what, and we don't even really know what those are because we're from a different universe. But it is like, no, we must, we can't. It's essentially the like don't boo vote of like moral philosophy. Like you can't, we just need to like redeem them. And what happens along the way is that like people die.
No, it's like fucking like Doc Ock and Green Goblin in this are like fucking Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, right? And it's like, oh, if we just like get slightly better shitty people, like, oh, that'll be okay.
Because like it's not clear from the story, but are they just returning to the point where they immediately die as villains? Because then what's this all been about except like to make you personally feel good, even though you are still sending these former villains to their death.
Yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't make any sense because they did die. Like, if you even start Destiny Switch, but Tobey Maguire's old and has and he there's even this line where he's like, I think I can make a thing to cure Norman, the Green Goblin. I've been thinking about it for a long time. And I'm like, what do you mean? You killed him in the first movie. You've been thinking about curing him? But, like, it's just like, everyone lives, but it's a movie about movies, right? They all are living... They're living movies. And they're just like, I was like, maybe we could do a movie a different way, essentially. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Life is hell.
Yeah.
Like, it does, I think this movie, in spite of itself, somehow it does reveal that we are just in a like complete prison of our own making. And no, you actually, even if you've cured all the supervillains, you still need to do the big magic spell at the end to just like fucking destroy everything, right? Like you actually, because like it works, but it doesn't work, right? Like it makes all the Spider-Men feel good about that, but then Tom Holland is like, no, we actually still need to eradicate all trace of me.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Oh, so Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Yeah.
Cash has been like really wanting to get in a word for the past 10 minutes, but we won't give it to him.
We're not platforming Cash.
Are we ready for some Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, let's hand out some Shia LaBeoufs. Catie, as the guest of honor, do you want to dish out your Shias?
Yes, actually, I would. I would say the Shia LaBeouf is like The Shia LaBeoufs I would give is the same Shia LaBeouf for in between the Disney original film, the Even Stevens movie, and the Transformer movies. I feel like they adequately they really portray just like the height of excitement for this film, but also with Transformers, just the recycling of storytelling.
What about you, Ethan?
So I'm going to give this film. I'm going to go with 2 Mark Wahlbergs, which, as we know, Mark Wahlberg essentially recast Shia LaBeouf in the Transformers films. So in this multiverse, Shia LaBeouf is replaced with Mark Wahlberg, who of course stops 9/11.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go, and the number 2, good even number.
Yeah, no, I like this because this is the same as giving it -2 9/11s, right? Because obviously, as we all know, Mark Wahlberg is the mathematical opposite of a 9/11. They cancel each other out.
What about you, Devin?
I don't know. There's just like a bunch of different Shia LaBeoufs, and they're like fucking like they're just all over the place, and I want to go home, but there's no way home, baby.
Hey.
Okay. Thanks for listening to You're Tall, But I'm Standing in Front of You. You know, follow us on Twitter, You're Tall Pod. Ethan's Mathasippi. I'm Stale Cooper. Thanks to Catie for joining us. Signing off. See you again sometime.